no tool fire. Now what's interesting here is this is a little muddy hole. It looks like something's been in it, but I don't think so. I think it's just the squirrels that are digging in their little caches. They have holes all over the floor of the woods here. The understory in here is just loaded with dead twigs. Not a lot of standing dead, but there is some standing dead small stuff in here. Which is just beautiful. You just break it off. No tools. You can get twig bundles galore. Noticing a lot of little rabbit tracks in here, and there's a set of coyote tracks that run right up through here. Coyote runs up through here. They were out, and there's a field up above here. They were out playing in that. There's a couple of coyotes. Could have been two different times, but they're both heading toward me. But I noticed right over here is the otter tracks, and I was but running along following this set of otter tracks, and I bet this is the same otter because he was just over the ridge right over here. And so there's this tracks, and then there's that big long slide that goes over all the way to here, and he ran in the weasel gallop. And there's another slide, and then a run and slide, run, slide, run along, and slide. Now the edges here we've had no cold weather. I mean the edges are just the ground is warm, and it keeps the edges from freezing up. That otter came right up in here and has been here for quite some time. So there's some droppings right there, and he's been off down along that side. I bet he keeps returning here. My theory is that the otter, so he's been in and out of here a few times. He could be right up under the bank here. They're digging out frogs and whatnot that are in the mud. I suppose you could analyze that scat. I'm not going to poke at it right now. He's keeping this open, and I bet there's a hollow right up in there. Could be in there right now. Though there are some tracks that come back, but there's tracks that go out. There's more out tracks than there are back in tracks. And of course you got your little snowshoe hare and your squirrel that came down and dug up some little cache. And the coyotes. And of course then you have beaver that have been up in here. There's the coyote tracks come right up past here. And you have a beaver who really just needs to gnaw it, or his teeth are starting to grow too much. I mean, what are they doing chewing on an old cedar tree? Very wet fireball. It's a growth out of a balsam fir tree. It's a base. So got the fire going, very toasty. So this is all just a fire that's broken off. So there's a whole tree right here. You could break this all off. The limbs are not that rotten, so they're a little rubbery, but I mean, that pine is just loaded with stuff. You could climb up that a little ways, break some of them off. And there's a lot more of that around. But again, the ice is broken off. It's only an inch and a half thick right there, but again, the ground keeps the edge warm. I don't know how thick it is out in here. But here's that set of auto tracks again. Comes right along. He was just running. He ran right out over there. But then I noticed while I was sitting there toasting myself that there's more tracks right in here. And I was thinking these were otter, but this is not otter. It's kind of cool to look. Something came along and sit right here. I don't see toe prints. This is a cat. This is probably a bobcat. There's no claws. There's no claws. And sit right down here. And its haunches set on its back feet, so it's this thing, and just squatted down right here, and was viewing something out across the water. Sat here long enough to melt in the snow. once you're broken off branches that are 3, even 4 feet long, once they get burned off in half, that leaves you with all this more stuff here that you can just add on. And go around the edge of the fire and clean up all that stuff. Kind of like that cat that sat out there, just sitting here and melt a little spot into the snow. I really wonder what the cat was watching. Maybe the otter. Maybe he was waiting for an otter to come along. I suppose a bobcat would take an otter. Anyway, the tracks went out and set at that point right out there, and then turned around and came back in. Just set of beer tracks that will lay down in the snow or after the snow, and then we had a few days of little flurries here and there. Comes right up through. He heads up into the woods here. Nibbled on some maple shoots, it looks like. And there's a path all along the edge, beaten into the grass. But there's a stream here, a stream that runs right up through here. Runs way up and goes way up into the woods up in there. It's all flooded up with beaver dams and whatnot. And yet, here's these tracks that go right out and cross right over. This is a beaver dam that runs right across here, runs right across there. I have to drag my canoe over that every single time. And they cross right on that beaver dam. So it's not necessarily just a pinch point, but a bridge for them across from here over to that side of the stream. I mean, they will swim. I've seen them break right through the ice in some places, but this is an obvious, like, easy path to cross. I mean, I would go across there myself right now, but I'm not going to. Just taking note. Lifting off the ends of the maple. The beavers have chewed these maple shoots down, and then they've resprouted.